regardless of how I feel, still going to keep pushing the information. Check these words out. So, this video is going to be called The Exploitation of Soul. Yeah. That's what I want to do with this video here. I want to say some words that'll exploit your souls. Yeah, I want to exploit the spirit soul. That's what I want to do here when I'm making this video. So I'm going to speak on some things. I'm going to post the word. I'm going to put the word exploit in the thumbnail of this video too, so you can see exactly why I am saying exactly what I'm saying here. Because I want to make full use. I want to make full usage of the spirit soul. The power I believe is the true God of the universe. The spirit soul. The power I believe is the true God of the universe. The spirit soul. Meaning our creator. This video right here, I want to talk about what I like to call spiritual intertwining for a moment. Spiritual intertwining, that's what I call it. What is spiritual intertwining? It's what you all call sex, you know? What you all call sex, I call spiritual intertwining. Or I just remove sex completely and just call it intimacy with our women. What happens when we are intimate with our sisters? What's some more intricate details? How does what you all call sex benefit men? Well, think about this before I even go on. Balance. Balance. Just keep that word in mind before I get ready to go in. Balance. So check that out, right? Now, due to how our women were brought into this reality, you don't have to believe this. You don't have to believe in any of my soul plantation method or my soul, spirit soul plantation energy, the three energies in the one soul seed. You don't have to believe in this. You don't have to. Believe whatever you want. I'm just going to post it. As I was saying, you don't have to believe this 3-in-1 energy, 3 energies in one soul seed philosophy. You don't have to believe it. That's what it is. My ideas here, my concept here of how this is all planning out. 3 energies in one soul seed. Our soul seed that gives us our strength and vitality to function. What energies are in the soul seed? Protons, neutrons, electrons. Came with 600 protons or 600 atomic number proton count in our soul seed. We came with 60 electrons or 60 electrons and or 2 sets of 30 electrons in our one soul seed. Still one energy, 60 electrons. And then we came with 6 protons in our one soul seed. Think of it as an atom. The energies are inside of the nucleus of the atom. The energies are inside of the nucleus of the soul seed. You can think of it as the same way as an atom. It's the 3 energies inside of the nucleus of the soul seed here. So, this atomic soul seed was planted into the dirt, and the germination from it was a giant black baby, or a giant melanated baby, or a giant carbonated baby. Giant carbonated baby boy. Germinated from the ground after this soul seed with the 3 energies in one were planted into it. Giant carbonated black baby boy. Giant carbonated baby boy germinates from the dirt. Moving forward now. You don't have to believe this beginning if you don't want to. I'm just going to stick with it because it makes the most sense to me personally. You can believe whatever you like. Just going to share this opinion. Just going to share it. Moving forward. So, time goes past. This first child, this first human being, or this first soul person reaches age 40. according to the Bible, using the Bible to also get my point across as to our origins and roots here. 40 years old, still giant. Where do I get the concept of we are giants from? Genesis. In the story of Noah, there were giants in those days. Book of Genesis, chapter, I believe, 7. I have to look at it again. Have to memorize it again. Only 7 times. One lifespan. I have to master it. But I know it's the story of Noah. Moving forward, though, there were giants in those days. So this is why throughout our history, we had to get shrunk down to size. That story you can find in Genesis 11. No, Genesis 11 is the tower. So Genesis 9. You can find the origin of that story as to how we began our shrinking. From you can source that story back to Genesis 9. You can get a gaze and or an idea or a concept as to how we shrunk and or got shrunk throughout the years into the sizes that we are today from Genesis chapter 9. Genesis chapter 11 is how we can explain the origin of how we have 7,100 languages today. That's what Genesis chapter 11 can tell you if you decode it or decolonize it. Yeah, you'll see the roots of why we have so many languages. And if you decolonize Genesis 9, you'll see the roots of how we went from giants to tiny people. And we still have archaeological evidence that which proves the existence of giants roamed on this planet. There's a lot of archaeological evidence around that proves the existence of giants roamed on this here planet of ours. And we were once those giants. How do we get smaller, huh? If y'all believe in that 5 monkey chart evolution, you're a fool. You're fools. It's a lie. Those were people with high defects due to what the evil of the current world still is today desired us to transgress through. Shrinkage era, so to speak. An era of being shrunk. It took 5.5 million years for all 5 of those so-called human evolution stages to transpire. Do your research. The numbers are all right there in front of you. The math is right there in front of you. The depictions are right there in front of you. Moving forward, though. This video is going to be called The Exploitation of the Soul. Yeah, because I want to exploit your spirit and soul. I'm going to put what the word exploit means within the thumbnail of this video so you can see exactly why I'm saying these words. I desire to exploit your soul. Here's how I'm going to exploit your soul. I'm just going to give some examples as to how it works with us. Yeah, because see, my soul speed or my soul's truth is virtually a mirror of the reality that we are in today. This is why a lot of things that you people are talking about, I'm just not buying. My soul's truth is just better than everything y'all talking about. The soul's truth is better than everything y'all talking about right now. Everything. And it's the fastest way to unite us if y'all just talk about the soul's truth. Talk about the dang on soul's truth. Just talk about it. Unite and end this war. Spiritual war. So, remember, I said this word. Keep balance in mind as I'm getting ready to go in. Just keep balance in mind as I'm getting ready to go in. And also this. The soul seed philosophy. The 3 energies inside of the one nucleus of the soul seed, like the nucleus of an atom. The protons, neutrons, and electrons. Third thing, the energies inside of the nucleus of the soul seed. The protons, neutrons, and electrons. We came with 660 and 6. Leave it up to the enemy. Just remove the zeros and just put 666 there, right? Revelation 15:18, I believe. I got that in many of videos. It's all there. I got at least had that one memorized for a moment. Lots of things are happening as to how I'm being caused to forget suddenly forget a few things. Like I see y'all not acting fast enough to end the world, so damages are still coming. They're still coming. What, you think this world still doesn't have some the capabilities to knock even somebody like me off its swivel? It does. Look at me. Moving forward, though, I want to talk about how the soul's truth coexists with our reality. Or should I say, I want to talk about how the soul's truth coexists in regards to intimacy with our women. How the soul's truth coexists in regards to the intimacy with our women. That's what I want to talk about here for a moment. How this soul's truth coexists with the intimacy in regards to intimacy with our women. If this makes sense as I'm going along. In other words, I want to label and describe how intimacy with our women benefits the nature of our soul, and or benefits the power of our spirit soul, and or how intimacy with our women, I want to say, reconnects or rekindles or revitalizes or re-strengthens or reboosts or regenerates the nature of our soul. Now, peep game, right? When we were planted, the soul seed was one. When we were planted, I saw the video jump, so I'm going to say it again. The soul seed was one. When we were first planted, the soul seed was one. It was one. The soul seed was one when we were first planted. Okay. So the soul seed was one when we were first planted, right? Now, as time went along, the being which had the meat sack over the soul seed, he got tinkered with. He was being tinkered with because the being present at the time was jealous of its existence, period. The way it started out is the way it will be until it ends. So, tinkered with. Now, I'm going to always continue to refer to Brother Billy Carson and or Brother Terrence Howard. I'm only going to refer to those brethren as far as like my five-dimensional highlight people, or people who I want to mention from the five-dimensional viewpoint. People like Terrence Howard and Billy Carson so far. Of course, Ibrahim Traore. See what he's doing as well. But out of those three, though, Billy Carson. Let me see. What was I getting at? Give me a moment. Brother Carson always talks about how genetic tinkering took place. Brother Billy Carson. Only ours. Only our own. Brother Billy Carson, he was mentioning how genetic tinkering went place and altered our physical chemistry and things of that nature, and he is spot on right. However, it still runs deeper. It still runs further back, just a little bit more than the Garden of Eden story, just a little bit further back than the Khoisan Eve genetic strand, or Eve tribe, or Khoisan tribe. Still runs further back. It still does. 6 million years from what I've gathered, to try to make this make more sense a little bit faster, so we can wake up, reawaken quicker. You follow me? Now, peep game. The soul seed was one in the beginning, right? Keep that in mind. So, in the beginning, this portion was taken out, meaning the first 30 electrons was taken out, planted in the ground. Lilith came, the woman before Eve, remember? Lilith didn't work out because she can only produce daughters. So moving forward a bit quicker, the Garden of Eden story that I'm familiar with. Not the one, I mean, no shots thrown at Brother Carson. It's just I have a story of the Garden of Eden, and so does he. But the one I'm sticking with has a Lilith involved, and an Eve, and a bunch of daughters. So, matrilineal conception disorder. Couldn't have no daughters. So, Garden of Eden story takes place. Because the Holy Spirit didn't like this. Garden of Eden story takes place. Now we got Lilith and Adam separated from the daughters. They get into an argument because of the trees and things of that nature. I'm trying to speed past the story as quickly as possible because I want to get to something else. So afterwards, they have the arguments. Adam puts her out of the garden. From thence they parted. Pison, Gihon, Euphrates, Gibeon, those 4 rivers that the daughters named. And after that, the animals were brought to Adam, named them all. None for his own. So then we have the second part that happens again. Puts him to sleep again. Reaches into the gut, or the rib, or the womb. Snatches out the last half score, BKA, the last divine grand larcening. Then also takes 100 of the heart, 100 protons out of our 600 core heart, and 1 neutron out of our 6 neutron mind. Those 3 energies of our women now in the nucleus of their soul seed, planted into the dirt, germination, who we call or know as Eve. And the starting point of the Eve gene. Okay. So notice something. The seed was 1 at first. The seed was 1 at first. So when we, now I can speed past a little bit because I don't need to cover anymore. I just wanted to reveal real quick Lilith, Adam, and Eve. Real quick, just reveal that so I can get more of my point across here as to how spiritual intertwining works. So due to those divine grand larcenings, and due to the separation of our seeds and all the damages that happen to them, when we are intimate with our woman, we are consistently repairing ourselves. We are consistently repairing the damages that tore the seed that tore the seed apart originally. You follow what I'm saying? So it's like this. Here's how the soul fragment comes home and or reconnects and or re-enters its home that it was torn out of. Here's how it happens. Contact. Any kind of contact we have with our sisters at all, any kind of contact we have with our women at all, any kind, a hug or holding hands in public or something, or kiss on the forehead, any kind of contact with them. And the beautiful part is, the stronger the contact, the stronger the spiritual intertwine. The stronger the spiritual intertwine, the better the balance. And the better the balance, the more better you can progress in thine own future. Damn it, wrong hand. There we go, I did it right. The better the balance, the better the progression, in other words. The better the balance, the better the progression. Remember, just use the word balance as I go in. Reason why I say balance is because when the seed was first planted, it was perfectly balanced, as all things should be, right? The seed was perfectly balanced. You follow what I'm saying? It was perfectly balanced in a spherical shape, planted into the ground, came out as the one that it was. And then a dark entity started tearing into it and tearing other things out of it in order for other things to have life. So, the Eve gene and its starting point. 100, half a score, and 1 now. So whenever we rekindle with our fragments that were torn out of its home, whenever we rekindle with them, it restores what our seed once was in its entirety. You follow what I'm saying? It restores what our seed was in its entirety. Protons are of the water. Neutrons are of the sun and the moon. And electrons are of the living. So, when we have any kind of contact with our women, or if they touch our shoulder or intercourse, intimacy with them, the stronger, the better. The more we come into the more stronger our contact with our sisters, the stronger the intertwine. The stronger the contact, the stronger the intertwine. The stronger the intertwine, the better the balance. The better the balance, the better the progression. Better the progression, better the balance. Long story short. So, intimacy and or sex, spiritual intertwining. There's a young woman on here that I was watching. I just want to mention her acronym that she broke down. I believe her channel was named Fluid. That's what I believe it was called. She had an acronym. Go check her channel out. She had an acronym for the word sex. She called it sacral energy exchange. And that is spot on in so many ways, because think about, well, like I said, this is my soul philosophy. This is my soul truth. This is how I understand the soul and understand the soul's works. This is how I understand the soul's works. Me, personally. You ain't got to believe how my soul truth operates. You ain't got to believe that. I'm just speaking it. Expressing some thoughts. Sister Fluid, though. She called it a sacral energy exchange. But Sister Fluid called it a sacral energy exchange. That's pretty spot on. How spot on is it, though? I want to say like 80-20. Because the thing is, and like I said, because I really just want to get rid of the word sex when in regards to the activity that we perform with our women. I don't think it's called sex. It just doesn't seem like the accurate word to use to label and describe the activity that's transpiring between men and women, between husband and wife. Reconnection, sacral energy reconnection in so many ways. Nothing, no shade at her. It's just 80-20. Sacral energy exchange, that's great, because let's look at it. Those energies that were torn apart are coming back together and exchanging the powers they have now thereof, or the experiences that they had in their life, or feelings that they have, or they gained. You follow what I'm saying? It's an exchange. It's an exchange, because the thing is, the neutrons are the conscious mind, the protons are the subconscious mind, and the electrons are the flesh. So when you are spiritually intertwining, your protons, which is your subconscious mind, and your neutrons, which is your conscious mind, those two are exchanging what they have encountered and or has been put in within their lifespan. You follow what I'm saying? So you can consider it an exchange in that regard, but when you go stronger and or deeper into the concept, and you'll realize how truly untouched, unhurt, and unbeaten and unstruck the spirit soul really is. It's a reconnection. Because the thing is, it's almost as if you have both let go and let God. You follow what I'm saying? And then instead of an exchange, it becomes a reconnection. But like I said, 80% agreement on the exchange, though, because our experiences, they do exchange as we are within our spiritual intertwine together, as we go through our spiritual intertwine. So, but here's the thing, though. Because of what it is, it's after effects. You follow what I'm saying? It's after effects, how it restores balance to the man and the woman in the exchange, especially if the man hasn't been Genesis 9. You follow what I'm saying? And it's like when the soul seed reconnects and or when the soul seed exchanges, it restores and or heals the wound that it slowly but surely heals the wound and or reconnects what was taken out of it, if that makes sense. It reconnects what was taken out. You follow what I'm saying? And once that reconnect is reestablished properly, you can consider it marriage, or you can just consider it yay who shacked up quite a lot without a rubber. Because the only way it works is without one. Properly, that is. I mean, the spirit is a part of the woman's body, though. So that means when you are intertwining with her genetics and things of that nature will have to mix with yours in order for it to work properly. So that means all things separating us, remove them. All of it. All of it. Everything that's keeping us separated, got to get rid of it, family. Moving forward, though. So spiritual intertwining, or as Sister Fluid said, sacral energy exchange. Sacral energy exchange, I agree with that on the 80-20% scale, because it's like a sacral energy reconnection, because these energies within us are truly, honestly sacral. What energies am I honestly referring to as well? For more details as to how the spirit soul works, the 7 chakra gates and or the flower of life that connects them. Brother Terrence Howard, I have a personal favor to ask of you. 1 second. Considering you have the resources necessary to post presentations on the geometry and history in regards to Osiris's flower, could you do any kind of research on how the zodiac signs would possibly connect to the flower of life? That's something I want to ask of personally. Do the zodiac signs, because when you think about the astrology behind zodiacs, it all still connects to geometry in some kind of way. You follow what I'm saying? It all connects to geometry. It just connects the connections. So I just wanted to ask if you could possibly see how the zodiac signs will connect to the flower of life. If you could possibly see so, or at least the blueprint that the flower of life represents. You follow what I'm saying? Because it represents our life, our literal life, this heart. It's one of the things, it's the main thing it represents. How we all came from the same design and or the same makeup. That's the main thing you're going to find when you do some research on that. But I would like to know if you could see how the zodiac signs connect to it. And if you also could see how the 7 chakra seals connect to it. I've done some research on how the 7 chakra seals connect to it, but I don't have the fancy doodads and whatnot to hook together a piece of presentation to have the proof and the evidence all right there for everyone to see and be like, oh, ooh, wow, 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 that's awesome and amazing, you know? You have that. So I would ask if you could do that personally. Just favor from me. I would just like to see a video talking about it. How does the flower of life connect to the 7 chakras and the zodiac signs? It's all geometry at the end of the day. Or a geometric, symbolic insignia of how something was crafted and or how something works. If that makes sense to you. That's pretty much all I wanted to mention for this video, though. Spiritual exchange. Spiritual intertwine. Sacral energy exchange. Or sacral energy reconnection. We need each other so much. We really do. I'm just telling you how. And once you go out here with what I'm saying, if you're listening to this point right here, once you begin to traverse through life, you'll begin to experience what I'm saying. Remember what a feel is? A feel is an experience. You'll begin to feel what I'm saying, meaning experience it. You'll begin to feel what I'm saying, and or you will just experience it. Reconnect logic with emotions. That's what I've done here. Who would have thought? The more logical you are, the more spiritual you can be. And what's the one thing that gives emotions its power up? Spirit. Spirit gives emotions a great power up. And the logical thinking mind is a spiritual thinking mind. Because the more logical you are, the more spiritual you will be. Because it's going to require a good harness and or literal knowledge of spirit in order to be as logical as I am. Or as logical as anyone who wants to practice or speak in a way that is just that is where integrity is the foundation of thy tongue. As integrity is the foundation of my tongue, allow integrity to be the foundation of thy tongue, as it is mine. This is not a victim mentality at all. I'm just aware of what struck me, aware of what's striking me, and aware of what will not stop striking me at all. Which is why it ain't about a competition with me. Meaning I'm not trying to be better than anyone or sound better than anyone. It ain't about a competition with me. It's just about the awareness and knowledge of what needs to be stopped. What is striking us? You know what? I want to say this real quick before I even finish my quotes. We are watching the oppressive body rip our family apart and steal us away from each other right in front of us. All because they want to feel better than we do. No other reason. Which is why it ain't about a competition with me. It's only about the awareness and knowledge of what needs to be stopped. I don't desire to be your king or your leader. I only desire to do or say something that will defend and protect you from the strikers. Lift the veil over the eyes of our people and give them a chance to see what the problem is and what they can do to stop it from being a problem. Too many words. Therefore, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Defend your neighbor as you defend yourself. Be lifted in the spirit and walk good forever. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.